He wrote her the greatest love letter in history. He never sent it. He carried it in a locked drawer until the day he died. She never knew it existed. Beethoven's Immortal Beloved, the love story he took to his grave. The man who filled concert halls with sound spent his life in a silence no one around him could see. He composed symphonies that moved people to tears. He wrote music that has outlasted empires. And somewhere inside all of it, inside every note he pushed onto the page while going deaf, inside every concert he could no longer hear, was a letter addressed to a woman history still cannot name with certainty. What he put in that letter is the part that will not leave you. Ludwig van Beethoven arrived in Vienna in his early 20s, already dangerous with talent. The city knew it immediately. Royalty requested him, concert halls filled for him. He was composing at a pace that stunned everyone around him. Sonatas, symphonies, music that broke every rule the classical world had settled into. Then, the silence began. By his late 20s, he could feel himself going deaf. A musician, losing the one sense his entire life was built on. He sat alone in a village outside Vienna in 1802 and wrote a letter to his brothers about the humiliation of standing beside people who heard things he could not, about wanting to give everything up, about the only thing pulling him back from that edge. His music. There was still so much he had not yet written. He never sent that letter either. And then he fell in love. Her name was Josephine Brunswick, a widow, intelligent, quietly extraordinary, the kind of woman who understood what he was saying when he sat at a piano, not just the notes, but everything underneath them. He wrote her 15 letters across 3 years. She responded, warmly, carefully, in a way that made clear she felt exactly what he felt. Then, she pulled away. Her children's guardians made it plain. Marrying a musician, even a celebrated one, would cost her children their aristocratic standing. Josephine chose her children. She ended it quietly, without cruelty, but without the one thing Beethoven needed. A door left open. He never recovered from it. He kept composing. The deafness deepened. By 1819, it was total. The man who had once performed his own concertos for emperors could no longer hear a single note he wrote. You need to sit with that for a moment. He composed by feeling the vibration of the piano through the floor, by pressing the instrument against his body, by hearing, somehow, in a place inside himself that the silence could not reach. In July 1812, he sat alone in a spa town called Teplitz and wrote a letter. He addressed it to his immortal beloved. He never named her. 3 pages, urgent, unguarded, the kind of writing that happens when a person has stopped performing and started telling the truth. He wrote about loving someone at the distance life kept placing between them. He wrote that her love made him the happiest and most miserable of men at the same time. He wrote that he could not exist without her. Then he folded the letter, put it in a drawer, and never sent it. He carried it for 15 years, through the composition of his 9th symphony, written in total deafness, a thing that should not have been possible, and was anyway. Through the premiere of that symphony, when the audience rose and a colleague had to turn him around so he could see the applause he could no longer hear. He died in 1827, alone, never married. The letter was found in a locked drawer beside his bed, along with a portrait. The portrait was of Josephine Brunswick. We still don't know with certainty who his immortal beloved was. He never told anyone. He carried that name the way he carried everything that mattered most, inward, locked, poured only into the music he left behind. And maybe that was the point. Maybe every symphony, every sonata, every note forced onto the page in silence was the letter he could never bring himself to send. Written not to one woman, but into the air itself, where she might one day hear it. She still might. If this story reached something in you that you didn't know was sitting there, subscribe. We tell the love stories history locks in drawers and forgets to open, and there are more of them than you know.